Classroom of the Elite Season 2, Episode 13. And we finally have the 13th episode or the final episode of the second season. And it is kind of sad because when I was watching the episode all the time in my mind, I had the feeling that when the episode ended, that was it. That was going to be the second season finished. So yeah, it was a hype episode, a very good episode, but at the same time, a sad episode because I had this feeling that, well, the season was going to end. But I mean, at the end of the day, I already knew that there was a third season coming out. I don't know if you guys know, but there is already a third season announced. I think there isn't a date that is coming out as of the recording of this episode review, but at the very least, there is a third season announced for Classroom of the Elite. And of course, although I was kind of sad when watching the episode, at the same time, I knew this was not going to be the end, because sometimes you get to the final episode of an anime and you don't really know if the producers, if the studio behind the anime will actually want to produce a second or third season. But in this case, with the 13th episode of Classroom of the Elite second season, we already knew there was a third season coming. So yeah, it hits kind of different when you know that. But yeah, like I said already, a very good episode, a very different episode than the last one, than the 12th episode, because the 12th episode was all about drama, was very intense in nature. We saw a lot of things happen in the episode. In this 13th episode, I thought they were going to continue with that same tone, but no, I mean, they went in a completely different way. But I kind of enjoyed it, to be honest. I kind of like it even more that the episode ended like this, that the 13th episode of the second season ended like this, because yeah, it is kind of a different episode in nature to the ones we were seeing throughout the whole second season. So yeah, not a bad episode. In fact, it was a very, very good episode in my opinion. I don't know what you guys think of the episode as a whole. It was a fresh air of an episode compared to the last ones. Oh yeah, in that sense, it was very good. But I guess the whole nature of the last episode of the second season was about Ayanokouji, about himself, about what he's thinking, about what is his mentality currently, about how his personality is changing slowly. That is how I would describe this 13th episode as, because I think this is the first episode we actually get to see a little bit more of Ayanokouji's character in detail. Because throughout the first season and throughout this second season, we've seen here and there little bits of Ayanokouji's character development, of what he's like, of what does he think about people, and things of that nature. But this 13th episode is different than the other episodes, because this 13th episode goes in further detail than the last episodes did. So yeah, in that sense, this last episode of the second season is perfect in the sense that it finally delivers us what we wanted to know about Ayanokouji, about how he's changing slowly, about his mentality, about wanting to change. He wants to get rid of his old self, his old ways of thinking, of acting, of not wanting to use people simply as pawns, as tools. He wants to sort of get rid of that. He wants to know a new experience. He wants to have a new experience interacting with people, which was hinted at the end of the episode. Because, I mean, the other topic of the episode is focused around Karuizawa and Maya. And because of those two, we have the complement of Ayanokouji also developing his character. So yeah, it is actually pretty interesting to see how this last episode focused all on Ayanokouji. I mean, we got bits here and there of Horikita wanting to join the student council, or thinking about joining the student council. We also got a little bit more from Ryuen and what he is currently doing, what his current mentality is like, and stuff of that nature. So yeah, we got stuff here and there aside from, Ayanokouji and Karuizawa, but those two, and mainly Ayanokouji, is the main focus of this last episode of the second season. So yeah, that is not surprising that the main protagonist is the main focus of the last episode of the second season. But interestingly enough, like it was throughout the whole second season, Karuizawa also got some really good screen time and some really good character development. I think she's got the most character development in this episode than all the last episode of the second season combined. So yeah, that is also pretty interesting to see. But yeah, I guess I will finally start talking about how the episode shaped itself out to be. So basically, the episode starts with Maya and Karuizawa planning a date, or I should say a double date out with Ayanokouji. And basically Karuizawa is a little bit doubting herself if she should be helping Maya set her up to date with Ayanokouji and to further their whatever relationship they had. She's kind of doubting herself, and she comes to the realization that she actually likes Ayanokouji, that she actually is in love with Ayanokouji, which I already thought she knew, but apparently she found out in this episode. I guess that is something also that we got in this episode, but because now she realizes that she likes Ayanokouji, and I mean Ayanokouji also knows this, which is something that I've been speaking in the last episode reviews, that Ayanokouji already knows that Karuizawa likes him. So because of this, he's kind of using Karuizawa as a pawn, but at the same time, I think we're seeing a little bit of a shift on that mentality, because it was kind of hinted or implied at the end of the episode that he's open or he's willing to change, even if it's a little bit his way of thinking. So who knows, maybe at the end of the day he will eventually end up liking Karuizawa or even maybe Horikita, so who knows. And yeah, I mean, the episode is all about that. It's all about how Ayanokouji will deal with Karuizawa, with Maya, and the future of his class, of Class D, because he says in this episode again that he doesn't necessarily plan for Class D to go to Class C, B, and A. I mean, he's not going to be that active. He's simply going to follow whatever the other people want, and of course we know that the other people of his class want to get to Class C, B, and A. So of course, in that sense, although he doesn't necessarily have that objective mind of promoting Class D, he will have to help out, because at the end of the day, that is what his classmate wants. So yeah, at the end of the day, even though he has shifted his mentality, when you really think about it, it is not that much of a shift in the mentality that he's going to have when he's saying that he simply wants to follow whatever the Class D wants. So that is his mentality going forward for Class D. He wants to let Class D develop itself. He wants to get rid of Kushida because he knows that she's kind of a thorn in the side of Class D, even Yuen admits it. So he's planning to get Kushida to drop out. Who knows, maybe later on his mentality will change, but at least at this very moment, what he's planning to do is getting rid of Kushida. He's planning to get Class D promoted to Class C in the third term, but he already knows that his class is probably going to get again demoted to Class D when they are in Class C, of course, because he's planning to get Kushida to drop out. I don't know what that has to do with Class D dropping again to Class D when they're in Class C. I don't know how that has to do anything with, Kushida dropping out and them dropping again to Class D. I think that is something we'll have to figure out in the future when the third season comes out. But at the very least, we know that Ayanokouji plans for Class D to eventually go to Class C in the third term. Although he already said in this episode that he's not planning to be that active. So I don't know how passive he will be if he's already planning this type of stuff. So yeah, at the very least, we know that much of Ayanokouji and what he's planning to do with Class D, with Kushida and stuff of that nature. And I mean, like I said at the beginning, the other part of the episode was focused around them going on a double date and, basically Ayanokouji rejecting Maya because he doesn't really have any feelings for Maya, to be honest. I mean, I guess we already knew that. We already knew that Ayanokouji didn't think that much of Maya. He didn't think bad or good. He simply didn't have any opinion on her. He doesn't have any feelings for her, and he says it in this episode. And to be honest, she takes it I was gonna say really well, but better than I thought she was going to take it, because I thought she was going to be vengeful. She was going to be out for Ayanokouji's neck if he ever rejected her. But no, I mean, she simply took it to the chin, if we can call it like that, because I mean, she accepted that she was rejected and she simply, went away. That doesn't necessarily mean that she's going to give up on Ayanokouji. She's probably not going to give up on Ayanokouji, and in the third season, we're going to probably see her still going on Ayanokouji, trying to make him fall in love with her. So yeah, that doesn't necessarily mean this is the end for Maya and her appearances in the anime. So yeah, don't think that that is the end of Maya. She got a little bit of a reality bite in this episode, because at the end of the day, I guess she already knew deep down that she was going to be rejected, and Ayanokouji didn't really think that much of her. But she still went through it. She got rejected and she accepted it. And I mean, like I said already, she's not going to accept it. She's probably going to still keep on going and trying to have Ayanokouji fall in love with her. And of course, we already knew also that Karuizawa wanted them to not go any further in their relationship or whatever relationship they had, and she was spying on them. And Ayanokouji says some really interesting words. I didn't really expect from him to say those kind of words to Karuizawa. For example, he said that Maya was no replacement for her. So yeah, those type of things I didn't really think Ayanokouji was going to say openly, to Karuizawa. Like, he sees people as tools, he sees Karuizawa as a useful pawn, he sees her as more useful than Maya. I didn't really think he was going to say those sort of stuff. And to be honest, Karuizawa's reaction to all of that is actually pretty shocking in a way, because Karuizawa already has accepted in a way that she's a pawn, that she knows that Ayanokouji only sees people as tools, as pawns. She knows that she's in a way being used like that. She knows that Ayanokouji doesn't necessarily have any kind of feelings, romantic feelings for anyone. So yeah, I mean, she already knows all of that, and she doesn't necessarily care. In fact, in a way, that makes her even more attracted to Ayanokouji, because those type of thoughts are making her more want to make Ayanokouji want to fall in love with her. So, I mean, yeah, that is actually pretty shocking that Karuizawa is secondly very calmly, just very accepting of Ayanokouji's character. And who knows, maybe this is something in the future that Ayanokouji will end up liking about her if he ends up in a relationship with Karuizawa. Who knows, like I said already, because he might end up with Horikita, or he may not end up with anyone. But I also got the feeling that when Ayanokouji was saying all those good things about Karuizawa in the last episode and in this episode too, he was not only doing it because he wanted her to fall more and more in love with him, and he wanted her to trust him more and more. I also got the feeling that he's slowly but surely changing a little bit. Maybe unconsciously he doesn't know that he's actually, maybe if it's a little bit meaning those words that he's saying to Karuizawa. So that could also be the case, that maybe he doesn't know that there's some part of those things that he said to Karuizawa that are actually true, even if it's just a little bit. Maybe those words were not necessarily only to be manipulative, were also because like I said already, even if it's a little bit, there was some truth to those words that Ayanokouji was saying to Karuizawa. So who knows, maybe Karuizawa, without her knowing, is actually changing little by little Ayanokouji. Or of course, maybe in the third season we can all see this falling down, and all the things that I'm saying are actually not true. But I mean, at least the episode made it seem that way. It was implied throughout the whole episode that Ayanokouji could be changing, maybe if it's a little, his way of thinking. And he even admits, like I said at the beginning, that he wants to change even a little bit. He wants to experience new things. He doesn't want to be trapped in the white room, because he feels like he's trapped still in the white room, because he only sees people as pawns, as useful tools. He wants to have a new experience interacting with people, and he admits that maybe Karuizawa could be that person that actually changes him. Maybe Karuizawa could be that person that makes Ayanokouji have feelings for her. So yeah, let's see if that is actually the case. Let's see if Karuizawa is actually the person to change Ayanokouji, even if it's just a little bit. But that just a little bit is huge, considering how Ayanokouji character is. So yeah, or maybe it's not gonna be her, like I said already. Maybe it's going to be Horikita or somebody else, we don't know. Or maybe he is not going to change. Maybe whenever all the seasons combine, and maybe he's still going to be that same person. I'm not actually of that mentality. I'm actually of the mentality that he will actually change. Now, I don't know if he will actually change because of a romantic relationship, because he will have feelings for Karuizawa or Horikita or somebody else. But at the very least, I do think he will change a little bit for the better, if you can call it like that. And if he's going to be in a relationship, if he's going to change his way of being, it's probably going to be because of Karuizawa, at least at this moment, because out of the first and second season, it is Karuizawa that has the most, I don't know how you can say, advantage or the lead in changing Ayanokouji's character in a romantic way. That could change, of course, in the third season, but at least the person that is currently having the lead in that aspect is Karuizawa. But yeah, pretty interesting and very good episode for the final episode of the second season of Classroom of the Elite. Like I said at the beginning, a very different episode than the 12th episode, but not a bad one, of course. But now that I think about it, I think I appreciated more this type of episode than if it had continued in the same theme or topic that was the last episode. I actually enjoy more this type of episode for the ending of the season. I don't know if I'm going to be making more episode reviews, not necessarily episode reviews, but I should say anime talks, anime topic talks about the second and first season, because now that the second season has ended, of course there's not going to be any more episode reviews until the third season comes out. So maybe here and there I'll do some discussions about the anime in general, about a character, about interactions between two characters, about so many things that I could come up with about Classroom of the Elite. So maybe I'm going to do those type of videos. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed my review. I hope you enjoyed this last episode of the second season. And yeah, that will be everything for me.